Graduation snack. We are planning a graduation ceremony for our grade 6 students. At the graduation, each student will receive a diploma. After the ceremony, we will serve a delicious snack to all who are invited. At the Cooperation Council meeting, Mary suggested that we make cookies and serve them with a glass of milk. Some of our students mentioned that at home they have a limit of 3 cookies per person. Therefore, we will offer the same amount to each person invited to the graduation. In this paragraph, I find that 3 cookies per person could be some important information. To everyone's delight, Felix's grandmother agreed to share her excellent chocolate chip cookie recipe. They ask you to calculate the quantity needed for each ingredient in order to prepare these cookies. Also, calculate the number of 2-liter milk cartons we will need in order to offer a glass of milk to everyone who is invited. I have made a poplet to show you that we need to get from graduation snack all the way to here. It is going to be quite a long ride, but we will be able. The first thing we need to do before we answer any of these questions is how many people are attending. The one in red means that this is the most important. How many people are attending? You cannot answer how many cookies total unless you have the people that are attending. The green boxes meaning that you have to calculate. Total number of guests, 22 kids in class. Invite 5 guests each and 10 staff members. That's what I need to remember. This is my calculation. I started with the 22 kids inviting 5 guests each. I multiplied it so that I could get 110 guests in total, meaning that they brought their grandmother, grandfather, mom, dad, or little sibling. Plus the 10 staff members, especially Miss Lucy and Miss Franca, will add up to the guest, which will equal 120, plus the 22 kids. They can't be left out. Boys and girls must be invited. 142 people will be attending. I can go to my poplet and cross off how many people are attending, because I have done that. Now I'm going to move on to how many cookies total. The black ones mean it's information. So the information here is 3 cookies per person. I must remember this for my calculation. This is my calculation. How many cookies in total? 142 people multiplied by the 3 cookies each will equal 426 cookies in total, which means that I have to bake 426 cookies. Now that I know how many cookies in total, I can put a check mark. Now I'm going to need to move on to how many batches will we cook. It means I'm going like this. They told me on the page that there was 4 dozen cookies on one batch. 4 dozen cookies on one batch. If we multiplied it, it will give 4 times 12 equals 48 cookies on one batch. Here's my calculation. I wrote on top how many batches will we cook so that I could label it. 48 cookies in one batch. I guessed 9 because I know 10 would equal too many. It would equal 464. So if I multiply 48 by 9, I'll get 432 cookies in 9 batches, which is around the same amount as 426. I'll have left over, but that's okay. Now that I figured out how many batches we will cook, I can checkmark it. They ask me now to calculate the amount of each ingredient. Here is Grandma's recipe. She has ingredients like cups of flour, 2 3/4 cups of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of shortening, 2 eggs, 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 2/3 cups of chocolate chips. All of these directions do not matter for what we have. So right now, I will just cross them out. Now, for these ingredients, this only makes 4 dozen cookies, which equals 48. I need to times these ingredients by 9 so that I could get the right amount. Multiplied by 9. To start with, I will start with the 2 3/4 cups of flour. Here's my calculation. 2 3/4 cups of flour. I'm going to start with the 2 so that I could calculate it step by step. 9 batches times 2 from this one equals 18. 9 batches times 3/4 part of this equals 27/4, which is an improper fraction. If I calculate this, it equals 6 3/4. But I cannot forget the 18. 6 plus 18 equals 24. Add the 3/4, so 24 3/4 cups of flour. Teaspoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 9 times 1/2 equals 9/2, which is again an improper fraction, which equals 4 1/2, bringing this half back. Teaspoons of salt. Now for the cups of shortening, 1/2 cups of shortening. 1/2 times 9 equals 9/2, which is an improper fraction, equals 4/2 cups of shortening, which was the same one for the teaspoon of salt. 2 eggs times 9 equals 18 eggs for our batches. 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar. I'm going to use the 1 first. 1 times 9 batches equals 9. 1/4 from this times 9 equals 9/4, which is an improper fraction, equals 2 1/4 cups of brown sugar. That is not my final answer. I forgot to add the 9 to this. So 9 plus 2 1/4 equals 11 1/4 cups of brown sugar. Next, we have cups of white sugar. 1/2 cup of white sugar. 1/2 times 9 equals 9/2, which is an improper fraction. Equals 4 1/2 cups of white sugar. 1 cup of evaporated milk times 9 equals 9 cups of evaporated milk. 1 teaspoon of vanilla times 1 times 9 equals 9 teaspoons of vanilla. Last but not least, my 1 2/3 cups of chocolate chips. 1 times 9 equals 9. Now I'm going to use the 2/3. So 9 times 2/3 equals 18/3, which equals 6/2/3. 9 times 6, 2 2/3, equals 15 2/3 cups of chocolate chips. Now back in my Poplet, I can check off, calculate amount of each ingredient. Now I'm going to need to move on to how many glasses in 1 carton. I know that 2 liters of milk in a carton A glass per person is 250 milliliters. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Wow, what a lot of information. Just remember, 250 milliliters in one glass. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. But remember, there are 2 liters. Think of it as money. You have $1 and 25 cents. You have 4.25 cents to equal $1. So 2 liters equals 2,000 milliliters, 250 milliliters equals 1 glass. 4 times 250 milliliters equals 1,000 milliliters, which equals 1 liter. Half a bottle. 8 times 250 milliliters equals 2,000 milliliters. 8 glasses in 2 liter bottle. 1 bottle. I need to double it because there are like 2 liters. I thought of it as money, like $2, and in $1 you have 4.25 cents, but in $2 you have 8.25 cents. So I know that there are 8 glasses in 1 2-liter bottle. Back in my poplet, I can check off how many glasses in 1 carton. The one last thing that I did not put in my poplet was that they said, also calculate the number of 2-liter milk cartons we will need in order to offer a glass of milk to everyone who is invited. Remember that 142 people were invited. My calculation, how many glasses of milk in total? I divided 142 by 8. Here's my calculation, with the remainder 6. But you cannot have 3/4 of a bottle. You have to have 18 bottles, because it wouldn't make sense to buy a 3/4 milk bottle. So 18 bottles to give to everyone who is invited. A glass of milk for everyone. Thank you very much for joining me on my graduation snack. My name is Isabel, and I'll talk to you next time. The great thing about Doodlecast is that you can review your answer. In this one, I've figured out that I made a wrong answer. So here is my correction. 1 2/3 cups of chocolate chips. I'm going to use the 9 batches multiplied by 1, which will equal 9. 9 batches multiplied by the 2/3 will equal 18/3, which is an improper fraction, which will equal 6. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 9 plus 6 equals 15 cups of chocolate chips. Thank you.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.